Hey guys, hello. Welcome to a Facebook Live. So I am doing this one on my phone because I couldn't seem to figure out the computer thing last time. So I'm trying to get this angle right because I do have my notes up on my computer because I have a bunch I want to get through today. So basically, we are ready. So today's live, I really want to focus on talking about the difference between what is a meal plan versus what are using macros. So this is mostly about why meal plans are not helping you as much as you think they are. The reason I'm doing this live is because the last couple calls I've had with clients, especially over the past few weeks, just interested parties were asking why I don't do meal plans. They're like, why don't you just tell me exactly what to eat every single day, exactly how much, lay it out almost a menu. And I'm just first, that's actually a legality issue. If you are not a registered dietitian, you cannot legally give a meal plan to someone. Second, this is talking meal planning, a very strict, you have to eat X number of egg whites with X number of spinach and X amount of avocado for breakfast. And then lunch has to be X ounces of chicken or tilapia and X, ounces of sweet potato or brown rice and X number of this. That's a very strict meal plan. You have a very select few food groups you can choose from. I'm not talking about meal prepping. Meal prepping is great, and you're able to prep foods that you like to your dietary preferences for later in the week. Meal prepping is great. A meal plan is not so good. So basically, I understand the draw to wanting a meal plan. If you're trying to lose weight and you just want someone to tell you what to eat, how much of it, and you just shut your brain off and you just do what you're told and lose weight, is that the easy method? Totally. Of course, that's the easy method. But the issue is you learn nothing. So unless you have any intention of sticking with that strict, very specific strict meal plan or very restrictive food list forever and ever, amen, you're likely going to put the weight back on because you've learned nothing. You just ate whatever box showed up on your doorstep that was labeled lunch, or you went to your pamphlet and said, these are the foods I'm allowed to have from 3 to 5 p.m. You don't actually understand what you're doing or why. So that's an issue with meal plan is, yes, it's the easy way out at first, but also you learn nothing and it sets you up to fail ultimately unless you're going to stay with it forever. So, let me just scroll here for a second. So the first issue that you're going to come into if you're using a meal plan that doesn't really give you any flexibility or teach you anything is the second your schedule just goes any direction other than what you exactly thought, you're screwed. What happens if you're out running errands with your kids, or not kids, you're out running errands and you lost track of time and you forgot to bring a bar, you don't have lunch with you because lunch is in the box at home in the fridge? What the hell do? You don't have a game plan. You don't have any way to adapt from those very strict rules. So if you're running errands, you're screwed. What if you're at work and you get stuck in a meeting? Oh my God, I'm supposed to eat, every 2 hours, and this meeting is going to go an hour long, so that throws off this meal. Then do I push the other one? It's a stress-inducing thing the second you can't control your schedule, and no one can control their schedule, especially nowadays. So another example really relevant to now during this quarantine is people are what if you need your cup of brown rice with lunch a half a cup with lunch, and then a cup with dinner. What if your store's out of brown rice? Can you have white? Could you? What else do you do? If you know what you're eating, you're all right, that's a carb, so I can instead use pasta or potatoes or bread or whatever else sounds delicious. If you know what is in the food you're choosing, you have so much more flexibility and just freedom to alter everything to fit your life, your needs, and your preferences. The meal plan kind of shrinks everything to a very, very small, narrow mindset that can work, but then you're stuck. How the hell do you function outside of that? It's not real life. So another example, that's basically if you're just trying to control your schedule. But I think a bigger issue with meal plans specifically are the lack of accountability for a social life. What if your family wants to go for pizza? What if you want to grab a drink with a friend you haven't seen in a long time? God forbid you get to the restaurant and she wants to order, chips and salsa or something. It's not on your meal plan. That's not in the pamphlet. I can't measure it. I have no idea. Can you eat it? Do you just say no and wish you could have some? Or do you just turn on bucket mode? You eat all the chips and then you're like, fuck, I don't know what to do. I went off plan. Ugh. So it's great when it works. The second it doesn't work perfectly, you're just left high and dry. So I'm not a big fan of meal plans for that reason. I'm a big educator. I want you to know how, I want you to know why, because if I do my job right, when we are done, you have the physique you want, your metabolism is raging, everything is great, you can manage independently. You should be able to do this forever and ever. I do have some clients come back time to time for little refreshers or like, hey, guess who got engaged? Can you kick my ass for a little while? That's great. But you understand the why behind it. There's no secrets. It's just having someone to hold you accountable and kind of guide you through that process so you're not left to your own accord wondering if what you're doing is right. Do you need to do more of this, more of that? So yeah, there is structure when you're counting macros and calories and doing flexible dieting, but you're learning as you go, just so as life throws you those curveballs, you learn how to adapt and move with them. You're not just on your meal plan or you're off. So, I wanted to, I guess, bring this back down to my post I made from earlier today on Instagram. That's kind of what prompted this. I've been getting asked about meal plans, but then I don't know if maybe this post prompted people asking those questions. I'm not really sure, but I threw this in my stories, not even thinking about it. I had my dinner planned out for the day. I was going to have, it was chicken. Oh Lord, I almost forget now. I think there was chicken sausage, vegetables on there, mashed potatoes, and a roll. So dinner that night was going to be the chicken sausage, the vegetables, and the mashed potatoes. I went to the grocery store earlier that day to grab, like the weekly haul for the family. We're trying to go out very, very minimally. And I found cheesy rolls. And they looked so good. And I was like, oh, my family loves these, knowing I love these. These are for me. I'm going to buy them. So I got home and I'm like, oh, shoot, I already planned dinner. I want the rolls. We're doing this. So I included a roll, chopped the serving of mashed potatoes I was going to have in half, and took a little bit of the carb, whatever I was doing that night, I don't remember, off of like my nightly yogurt bowl, which I'm obsessed with, and I had the roll. It was so good. Cheesy Asiago rolls from like Kroger or Ralph's, whatever. Oh my God, they're good. So, I digress. Basically, if you're doing a meal plan and you had to have your half a cup of rice or ounces of this, you have to stick to that. It doesn't give you the room to swap out those per your dietary preferences, nor does it give you the room to make a day of change. So I bought the roll that day. I wanted the roll. I ate the roll. It was a great roll. I also had them the next day because they were delicious. So you want to be able to have the freedom to understand what's in your foods, just so when you do have those last minute cravings, you can swap things out. I typically have meals planned, 5 days in advance, and I'm constantly using different foods and things I like so I don't feel restricted. But if I had tacos planned for dinner and I woke up and I'm like, I am so not in the mood for tacos today, I want pasta, I change it. And you should be able to change it because each meal should be broken up of some level of a carb, a fat, a protein, some vegetables, and think of it just like a Tetris. You're kind of just fitting things into blocks. You can do it however you want. You can turn one block upside down, whatever. There's no structured, it has to look like this. You have to break out of that. It has to look like this. I have to have this at this meal, X number of hours apart every single day, or I just won't lose weight. That's way too stressful. And the more stressful your weight loss process is, the more it's going to suck, and it doesn't make it happen any faster. Life is stressful enough, and you only have so much ability to make disciplined choices. So your diet should be easy most of the time. I find the easiest diets to adhere to lose weight and keep the weight off, that's the most important part, are diets that let you eat foods that you love, all while losing weight. I forget which researcher said this, but I really liked the example. He was like, especially if you're using macros or like a flexible dieting where no food is off limits, you can eat every single food you want while you're trying to lose weight. Maybe you just can't eat as much of it as you want every single time. And I thought that was a great way to put it, is because portion sizes do matter. So to go into flexible dieting and macros a little bit is basically you have a set number of calories for the day, and those are broken into proteins, fats, and carbs, and you want to throw some veggies in there. When I take a new client on, I do all of this for you. Then you just know your goals for each day. By the end of the day, you want to have, let's just throw out a random number, 1,800 calories every day. You want X number of protein, fats, carbs, get close enough. Calories are king, just get close there. That's the main priority. Protein, that's going to be your second priority. The other ones, just get close enough. If you're not perfect, who gives a shit? It's close enough, good enough. You are trying hard, so lose the idea of perfection, because I'm not interested in that at all. And then you use your own dietary preferences and your schedule of eating to accommodate that. If you're someone who just doesn't do breakfast, don't do breakfast. That means you just have more calories for later in the day. I am a hangry monster if I don't have breakfast. Love breakfast. So I do that. If you get stuck in a work meeting, or so I do a lot of healthcare clients, because I guess I am in healthcare, so a lot of I get a lot of like RNs, PTs, things like that, a couple OTs, and basically it's like, all right, I'm going to be with patients, or I'm going to be scrubbing in for 4 hours out there. I'm like, all right, so load up beforehand, load up after. That's fine. There's no strict routine. That's the whole flexibility component of it, is you keep adjusting to meet your needs, and every day can look completely different. And so when I take on a client, once we get your calories, your macros, all that down, we monitor your response to that, and we make adjustments to them as needed. It's a common misconception, especially if you've never worked with a coach before, or one who is confident enough that she knows what she's doing, or he, I guess, is you want someone who's going to try and get it right the first try, not someone who has to spend hours and hours and hours making an adjustment every week because things aren't working. What we want to do is get your calories into a deficit, get your macros on point, close enough where we're seeing the body transform that you want, and then you're feeling like you can live your life, you have freedom to enjoy foods that you like, and you make progress. If I did my job right, you get to ride that train for a while. Then when the plateau hits, we adjust. That might not even happen for 2 or 3 months. It might happen after 6 weeks. It's really different for everybody. But if you've worked with someone who has to make an adjustment every single week because things aren't moving, that means their first calculations were wrong. If you get it wrong from the start, everybody's life becomes way harder. What you want to do is get it right from the very start, have to adjust very little, and keep yourself eating as many calories as possible. Keep your macros high. Eat all the foods that you want, all the yummy things, not just from a very strict meal plan list, and still make progress. That is the way that I like to coach. That's what I really believe in, is teaching the how and the why behind it, taking away no foods. If you love cookies, eat them every day. If you hate asparagus, I don't care, don't eat it. If you don't like raw vegetables and don't want to eat salads, I also don't care at all. Food is food, and macros kind of level everything out to an even playing field, where I find meal plans that have really, really strict good list, bad list, all the time list, sometimes list, or whatever, they reinforce the fact that you have to earn certain foods. Other foods are better than others. Yes, they're all just food. Your body can digest, ice cream, and then it can also digest spinach, and it can also digest eggs. It knows what to do with it. They all just have different calorie amounts. So it's just knowing what you're doing. That's the biggest thing. So I think I went on a little bit of a tangent here. All right. I think those are the biggest things that I really wanted to cover on the differences between macros and meal planning. So, do macros require you to take an active role in your weight loss journey? Yes. Should you take an active role in your weight loss journey? Also, yes. I get to say that because I've said it to patients of mine as a physical therapist for 7+ years. I've had a patient come in, I'm in the eval room, I'm like, all right, this seems to be the problem. And they're like, all right, so how are you going to fix me? I'm like, I'm not. I'm going to help you fix yourself. It is about taking an active role, taking ownership of this, and learning as you go. Not taking the easy way out, because taking the easy way out never works. And the literature is crystal clear, is if you cannot see yourself maintaining any little bitty piece of the methods that you lose to lose the weight long term, it's not a matter of if you put the weight back on, it's a matter of when. The stats are pretty clear. Within 3 weeks, 90% of dieters who lost the weight will have it all back on. Often more. That sucks. The big piece there is the lack of education and the lack of a post-diet plan to get you out of your diet and back into real life mode. Also, structured meal plans often don't have that missing piece of just getting you from diet mode, get your metabolism from here to here while maintaining that physique that you just worked so hard for. If you don't get yourself from here to here calorie wise and you end here and try and stay here, you're a ticking time bomb, and that sucks. And I'm really trying to help you guys not stay here. I'm always about eat as much as you can. Eat as much as you can. Stop overtraining. Know what you're doing. Make educated decisions. Don't be panicky. You don't have to follow a very set list of rules. Be flexible with yourself. Be flexible with your nutrition choices, and include variety to an extent. Don't make your life super complicated and try and make every meal the best meal you've ever had and have like 20 ingredients. If you'd like a few solid staples all the time, eat those. That's why I have oatmeal almost every day. That's why I have a yogurt bowl almost every night. It's about finding those staples. I'm still exercising, flexible dieting, and macros, not a meal plan, but I just know what I like, so I eat those. So it's less about just taking the easy way out, whatever box shows up on your doorstep, whatever the pamphlet says, you just eat whatever the meal plan told you on this very strict list, and opening your eyes and just being willing to learn how food is food. And if you control your portion size more than anything and kind of stick to your calories, you're going to make progress. If you want to get macros involved, prioritize protein, which is actually more important when you're in a fat loss cut than when you're just maintaining, which is also a common misconception. Those types of things can help you transform into the physique you want, not get the skinny fat, which I heard a lot on the phone lately. I'm like, you're calling yourself that? I never said it, but apparently people are talking about skinny fat a lot. And I also learned the words today, or the other day, quarantine 15, kind of like the freshman 15 in college. I know that was a thing. I had to Google it. So don't hit the quarantine 15 hard. Don't sign up for anything crazy. At the very least, I'm trying to basically say, ooh, there's a little hair in my keyboard. What I'm trying to say is, don't take the easy way out, especially after the quarantine, or if you're putting on more weight than you want, or things are just not fitting great, or you're spinning your wheels and you see a shiny new meal plan that's guaranteed to work and you get all these special smoothies and stuff. Resist that urge, because unless you plan on drinking those smoothies forever, and a lot of them just taste like chalk. I know, because I used to try them. Don't take the easy way out. You will not get what you want. Be willing to invest your time, your money, and your efforts into yourself and your results, and that's how you get to keep them. That's really all I wanted to cover today. Is just I've been getting a lot of questions about meal plans specifically, so I wanted to break down meal plans versus macros, having dietary target goals using a bunch of foods versus you have to eat this, and this spaced this far out. Enjoy. But your life's going to suck. Do you guys have any questions? That's basically all I wanted to cover today. I'll stay on here for another second. I don't see any questions coming through. All right. Looks like you guys are done watching me blab for a little while. I'm going to go inside, watch world news, and get a little depressed, and just hang out with my family. So if you guys have any questions later, comment below, message me here, message me on Instagram. I see a few of your names that have my email. I know you do because I've talked to you. Email me questions. I'm really approachable. I always respond, so I'm here to help you in any way I can. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.